you're going to need for the base, you're going to need a really kind of a stiff cardboard. And I've got chipboard, and you can get that at Hobby Lobby. If you don't have chipboard, just take like some cereal boxes and glue probably like 3 of them together. And the oval base is going to depend on your sock and how big you want to make it. This one is about 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So it's an oval shape. I just cut it out freehand. So you're gonna need that. And then for the shoe, you're gonna need, and I'm gonna show you how to make that pattern. There's gonna be no pattern, PDF pattern. You're gonna need the sunflower fleece I got from Joann's. It's very, very pretty. So you're gonna need that for the hat and the body. I got some brown fleece for the arms and his feet or shoes. You're gonna need faux fur for the beard. You're gonna need a big sock. So this one, I mean, you need something that really stretches this time. So I got these large ones at the Dollar Tree, and I think they were 1 or 2 pair for $1.25. I think it was 1 pair. So you're gonna need that. This time I'm gonna use rocks for the weight. I'm gonna make the people that don't like rice happy. You're gonna need some stuffing, and you're gonna need for the nose, you can either use a half bead, these felted balls, which these I find on the garlands after the holidays. I mean, they have them during the holiday, you know, like Christmas, Valentine's. I think I've even seen them at Halloween. And I buy them when they're on clearance, and then I cut them, and you'd be amazed how many you get in a package. And then I just take and trim because it looks a little furry, a little hair sticking out, so I trim it. I take some blush or makeup and then just brush it on so it tones it down and gives it more of that nude color, skin color look. And otherwise, I'm going to show you how to make the noses that I like. And this fabric I get from Joann's, it's a Jet Set Nude. That's what it's called. It's very stretchy, and it will run. But the way I make it with this square, and I will show you how I do that. You're going to need some flowers for the hat, some greenery. I used a bird, but you don't have to. Some of these little ones I got at the specialty shop in my town. These other little really tiny ones, you can get these at Hobby Lobby where their fairy garden section is. Or you can use whatever you want. And I'm going to put sticks in his arms, so I just went outside and picked up some sticks. To wrap around the sticks and probably his arms, I got some different color of thread. I got brown, an ivory, yellow, and a green. For the inside of his arms, you're going to need a pipe cleaner. His hands are going to be 2 wooden beads. And then you're just going to twist 3 pipe cleaners together for his arms, and I'll show you how I make that. And I have quilt batting, so I just cut a piece of this off, and I'll show you how I wrap that around the pipe cleaner, just so I have some, you know, a little bit of substance in his arms. You don't have to do that. And then some greenery. And I have these. I get this bush. It's a bigger bush. I get it at Walmart. And then I just cut it up and I put it in a jar, so I have the individual leaves ready to use. And I think then you're going to need a glue gun. I like to sew my gnomes. And these are some of the flowers I'm going to use is these ones. I like these ones. They're very pretty. I get these at Hobby Lobby. And they come in this like beige. They have the orange. I haven't used the orange yet on anything. And I like the white. And then these flowers I get at Dollar Tree. And they have pink, yellow, white, purple. Okay, well, I had to start all over because I had shown you all the supplies. And I forgot to turn my camera back on from pause. So this is how far I got when I realized I was not filming. So I'm going to start all over. So I will finish him later. You're going to take your sock And I think I got to show you, I cut an oval, and this is like, this is a little bit smaller. This is probably 3.5 by 3.5. And I used the chipboard like I had said in the beginning with the supplies. And I just cut an oval. I probably wouldn't cut it any bigger than 4. Under 4 is good if you want a smaller gnome. So, and just make sure your edges, there isn't anything pointy sticking out. So you're going to do that. So I'm going to use that's a little bigger. And I cut some of my sock off because I didn't need it really long. So I'm going to turn it right side out. And I'm going to get all the fuzzies from cutting it. So turn the wrong side out. Put it on your hand. Make sure you got the toe down here. And you're going to grab this like this. Let me make sure my camera's on. Okay, we're good. Now you're going to take and put glue on this. And you're going to flip it over. Try not to touch it and get it right in the middle there. And then hurry up. And then put your fingers in here and grab and push that through. And then put your hand in there and push it through. And then make sure everything is flat. Okay? And now we're going to do rocks. Which I got to get rocks because I use my other rocks. Because I'm using rocks to please the people that don't think I should be using rice. So you're going to dump your rocks in your sock. And I have probably a good 1/2 cup. And then I have to go get stuffing because I used it all. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn it on this time. Okay, had to make sure I was filming again. Now I'm going to take my stuffing and start stuffing it, and we want to try to keep it oval looking, because that's the look I'm showing you guys instead of the round. And I'm trying to push it down over and around the rocks. And I want to see with this one, you can kind of hear that there's rocks in there. That doesn't please me. I'm not too worried about it. But if I make my gnomes, I'm probably going to make them with rice. And like I said, I've never had bugs. And I'm going to put some in. I'm going to take part of that out. And I'm going to try to push it on the side so we can get that oval look. And I want to try to keep it small. And I'm going to try to get some. And the heel of the sock is always the front of his face because it just protrudes out. It's how it works out. And we're going to have a little bit of a head and a neck, and we're probably going to take most of it out before we put his hat on. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm just going to throw it away because I'm not going to use it for anything. Get rid of my sock fuzzies. And then you're going to make sure you get this nice and stuffed so it's getting that oval look. You're going to take your fabric, right side is down. You're going to place them in the middle. I'm going to see if my other piece is more square than this one. So you're going to place it, and I always place, here's the heel. I always place it with a point right over his face. You're going to try to center it, and you're going to get some strong thread. If it's not strong enough, double or triple it. And then have that cut ahead of time. And you're going to take all 4 of your points and pull them up. And then you're going to take these little pockets, and you're going to grab those. And you got the front of his face is right here. And we're going to flip him so his back is facing up. You're going to take your string. You're not going to use thread. Thread is not strong enough. String. And you're going to probably place it, don't place it up here too high because then you won't have any head or neck or anything. So you got it like this. You're going to take one and go around the front and wrap it to the back. The other one, wrap it around the front, bring it to the back. Okay, so just tie it around there. Make sure you have all your ends, and then you can lay it down, and without letting it get away from you, pull those really tight. And I think I'm going to loosen it because I want it to move it up a little bit. So if your body looks really small, you might have to adjust it so you can push this string up. But make sure you still have all your ends in there. I'm going to cut some of that off, and then I'm going to tie it in a knot. So when you get it tight enough, you can do that surgeon's knot, is what I was told it was called, 3 times, and you pull it, and then I do a regular knot or 2. And I'm going to make sure I'm filming this time because I'm not doing this a 3rd time. Good Lord. Okay, we're doing good. And now you're going to take and look at your gathers. You're going to distribute them. If you can't get a hold of them, use your needle nose pliers. Everybody should have those in their craft room. I use mine daily. I mean daily. And just distribute them. Make sure that they are not all bunched up in one place. And make sure you know where the head is going to be so you can get the front of that looking nice. You're going to cut this excess off. If you wanted to use this for his arms, you could. Or if you wanted to save it and possibly use it for something else. I have so much because I cut out about 20 bodies and hats for my craft fairs and for my website, which it's probably not going to get, I'm probably not going to open it up till the end of the month. I really wanted to get a lot of stuff done this weekend, which is September 10th, and I really didn't. I did get a lot of stuff cut out. So now we're going to end up taking some of this out from his head, because that's way too much. And now let's do his hat. Where'd the rocks go? So the hat, you're going to take, and you can sew this. I always like sewing mine. I do not like hot gluing too much of my gnome. You're going to make sure you cut it on the stretch. This stretch part is going over the front of his face, his nose. So if you want to hem it like I did, you're going to do that before you sew your hat together for the side seam. I'm going to get you a little closer. So you're going to sew it, and then I cut the excess off. Then you're going to put right sides together. This is where his nose, this is the front of the hat. You're going to fold it in half, and I'll have the supplies in the description box. So this is about 14.5 inches long. You could do it 15 or 16 because it has to be wide enough to go around his nose. His arms are going to be under there, and then down in the back here. So if you wanted to get his nose on and measure, you could do that. And you could do it by wrapping it around like this. And then you're going to have enough to sew it. But you don't want to make it too small, because if you're not going to be able to stretch it, you know, if you got a huge gnome. So that's why I always try to make mine bigger. You're going to save probably more fabric if you make it a little bigger and have to cut it smaller. And if you make it too small, then you have to cut a whole nother piece. So then you've wasted more material. Then you're going to sew it. And I got my hat over here. You're going to start, so here's our open. This is where the nose is going to be. This is our fold. You're going to start at this edge right here. And you're going to sew up. If you sew up, if you want a really long hat that flop down like those, I don't know what they're called, those old hats, then you're going to cut a really long piece, and you're going to sew and sew and sew until you want to get to your point. But I don't want a very long hat, So I'm going to sew, and I'm going to go in more at an angle. And I'm going to sew up this way. So then it's like this. Then you're going to cut 1/4 inch to your seam. And then you're going to turn right sides out. And there's our hat. Okay, let's do his nose. And I always show how to do this. And even though I've got a video out there, you can use, like I showed you, you can use the half wooden beads. You can use the wooden balls. There's the wooden ball knobs. You could use those. So you're going to get your string. And I cup my hand and I place my fabric. I got a big piece here. You're going to place it over your hand. And you're going to get your stuffing, and you're going to start stuffing in between your finger and your thumbs. Your thumbs? Your thumb. And make sure you got enough. And I like a big oval nose. I don't like the... If it's a small gnome, yeah, I'll use a tiny nose. But I still like the oval shape. I don't know why. I like the way it looks on my gnomes. So you're going to stuff that as big as you want. I might take a little bit out. And then I end up going back and forth from hand to hand, so then I can get it gathered. Now I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to grab it. So I got all of these in my hand. Take your string and kind of find the middle of it. And then put it over like this. And you're going to wrap once around, and then you're going to pull both ends. And then you're going to take one string, one end of it, and you're going to wrap it around that nose about 3 times, 4 times. Don't cut this off, because we're going to use this to go around his neck to tie it on. Now you're going to tie a knot. I mean, you could glue it, but it's easier if you just leave the string and tie it around, because then you really got to hold it. Now you're going to take and you're going to shape your nose. And like I said, I like a oval nose, so I just kind of keep working on the top and the bottom. And I like it nice and tight. I don't like it all loose, and so it just looks like like a 3-year-old did it. I hate to say that, but... And then I'm going to put this string over here. I'm not cutting it off. And I'm going to take this between my fingers. And I'm going to cut about 1/4 inch away from that thread and cut that excess off. And then we're going to put this on him. And I'm going to make sure I'm still filming, and I am. And I got to get you guys backed up a little bit. Now we're going to you're going to wrap it around. You're going to get it centered in the front. And you're going to take your 2 ends, and you're going to wrap them around the front and cross them over. And then make sure you keep your nose centered. If it gets off center, don't pull it out, because you're going to pull it apart. And then when you get it in the back, you're going to do your surgeon's knot. And you can even cut some of this off. You can save this and use this like on your arms by the wrists. Is what I do. You can use them in for your hats. And then cut that off. I usually cut it 1/2 inch. And now we're going to see how his hat fits. I know I'm going to take more stuffing out of here. And I'm going to cut some of that off. And he's going to shed again. If my fabric sheds, and just pieces go everywhere, I usually take it over the garbage and kind of knock it off. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to tie this off. If you tie this off with the rubber band, tie a string around it, because that rubber band will dry out and break. Trust me. And I just wrap it around a few times, pull your end so it's tight, and then tie it in a knot. So I'm going to start a new, I don't know if I'm going to get to it this week, because today is September 10th, And I was going to do videos on Tuesdays. And it is going to be called Craft Tool Tuesday. So every Tuesday, and like I said, I don't know if it's going to be this week, which would be the 12th. Because I wanted to get one done tonight. I'm going to try, really going to try. So we got his nose done. So then every Tuesday, we're going to go over tools that we can use in our craft room for our crafts. I'm not going to just center on one type of craft, like scrapbooking or gnomes. It's going to be a variety of tools, okay? So we're going to do his arms. And I have the one done. So you're going to need your wooden ball, pipe cleaner, and the arm. And so the arm I just took, I don't know where my other piece went that I had earlier. Here it is. So I cut my arm, and like I said, I'm going to leave everything in the description box so you'll be able to see sizes and stuff. So it's 2.5 inches by 6. And I know that's not straight. And I usually get all my fleece, pretty much all of it, at Joann's. Some I get at Hobby Lobby. They have good. So you're going to fold this in half, and I sewed it. So I sewed it right like that. If you want to glue it, you're going to put a bead of glue all the way down here, fold it in half, press it, let it dry. Do not turn it. Let it dry for a few minutes before you turn it right side out. So then what I like to do is take quilt batting, because it's thin enough. Oops, I got to put some glue in your bead. And then you twist your pipe cleaners together, and then put your, I got glue down there. Put the pipe cleaner in there. I'm hoping I can peel that off. There we go. And then put that on here. So I put glue on my batting. And if you just have scrap, this is just giving his arm just a little bit more substance, I guess. You don't have to do this. And then glue that down. And then cut the excess off. And I already have the one done. And then you're going to put the arm. So you want to cut your arms on the stretch like this. This one is not. That wouldn't help. This is the stretch. So that when you go to put it around his arm, you're able to stretch it. Because if it doesn't stretch, you're going to have a little bit of issue. I know, because I've done it, and I don't like it when it's doesn't stretch. And then you're going to pull that up, and you're going to wipe the tip of your glue gun off. If your glue gun tip is tiny enough to get in here, you can do that. Make sure you insert it down far enough and go all the way around. Make sure you don't squirt too much so it doesn't seep out. If you have anything there you need to trim off, do that. And there's his arms. So now I'm going to put glue on the inside and then squeeze that so I can close it shut. And then you're going to do it to this one. You don't need much. And then squeeze it. And there's his arms. And I always have the seam going down, so then you're going to figure out where you want his arms. I think I got one that's a little longer. And how far you want them coming down. If you want them coming so he's holding something, you would put them closer together like this, okay? If you just want it like mine, where I have the bird and the sticks, then they're just going to sit along the side. So then you're going to take glue and glue it right up here. You can do about 1 inch or so. And then you're going to make sure you have it centered. I think his nose needs to be. So make sure, I'm going to have to turn this around so I can look at it. You're going to do the other one. So I got to look at it so I make sure they're even. One's not longer than the other. And these arms are going to get covered up by the hat that was hot glue. That's hot. and just press those down. Be careful of the glue. And then I'm even going to go under the arm a little bit here. And you can bend those. And now we're going to do his beard. We're going to let that sit. So I always take small scissors. And this beard is probably going to be a little bit too long, so I'm going to cut it. And you're just cutting the backing, so you're trying to put your scissors in between this fur and the backing, and you'll be able to hear it. And since I got the side, I got this nasty stuff, I'm going to cut that off, but I'm going to round, and I'm still trying to cut the backing. I'm going to round it like that, and then I'm going to do the other side, because you don't want to cut all your fringy fur off. And it's going to shed, and you want to make sure it's even because you'll be able to see it when you put it on. And then when you turn it around, I get a nail brush from Walmart, or you can use a toothbrush. You can use, if you have an extra comb, you can use the comb. If your beard gets kinked, if the fur gets kinked, take your blow dryer and blow dry it this way. It will smooth it out. It's beautiful. And then you're going to cut. This doesn't matter. You can go ahead and cut all of it because it's not down here. We're going to cut a U shape, and then you're going to pull that excess fur off because it will shred, and you can brush it so you can get it all out. And then you're going to take and you're going to put glue right underneath where that oval shape is, and you're going to lift his nose up, and you're going to make sure the gathers of the nose are underneath that beard. And then we're going to take and glue those tabs. You're going to tuck it right alongside his nose. So I put glue right on these tabs and do that. And then you can take and put a little bit of glue right on that string where we tied around the nose. Okay, so now we'll do his shoes after we get his we'll do the shoes after we get his hat on. So I'm going to just spray some hairspray on his beard. I don't mind using hairspray. This one is spraying really icky. Big old string of it. Just enough so I can tame it down because it gets too flyaway. Okay, so I think we got everything. So his hat. Where's the one I had? Oh, right here it is. So now we're probably going to stuff his hat a little bit. So you're going to see, you're going to make sure you keep that beard out of the way. And you're going to put it over his nose, and then I kind of pull it back. And then it's going to come down in the back. So we're going to stuff his hat. And you can go, you don't have to go all the way up to the tip. So I kind of put it in. And then when I get to where I know the head might be, I kind of spread it out. So then like his head is going to get tucked in here. This might be less than an hour video, you guys. Oh, that'd be a miracle, huh? But yeah, I'm kind of excited. I thought, you know, I should do some other videos and something else. And I thought craft tools. So it's going to be Craft Tool Tuesday. And so hopefully this week, I'm really not promising. But next week, I will. So I like that. So now I'm going to try to hang on to that. I'm going to flip the back up. And I'm not going to go really close to the edge of the hat, and I'm going to put some glue, and then I'm going to get my hands in there and put it down and press it. So if you don't go really close to the edge, it's going to spread out anyway. You don't want it to squeeze out if you get it too close. And now I'm going to do his nose. So I'm just going to hang on to it like this, and I'm going to put a bead right on his nose and make sure his fur is out of the way, his beard, and then do it that way. So this works really well. Just hang on to his hat, flip this up, put the glue on the nose and flip it down, and then we're going to glue the sides. And then you're going to press that down and try to hold that, and then do the other side. So hold those down. It might take a little bit for it to dry. Okay, I'm going to take, I don't know if I'm liking this one. I like the first one I did, and I don't know why. Let's get his feet on. We got to get his feet. Okay, let me get rid of some of this. Okay, so when we did his feet, and I don't think I showed you, well, I did in the first time when I didn't film it, and I cut it all. Okay, so I took, and I showed you how to make a pattern even. So you're going to make an oval, and it's going to be bigger in the toe, so it's going to be wider, and it's going to be narrow in the heel, and then you're just going to connect those two, and it's going to depend how big a foot you want. And then you're going to cut that out, and you're going to trace it, and I use my chalk. I don't have my chalk right now. And I even had a shoe cut out, and I don't know where that is because I was filming, and here it is. Then you're going to take, I use a chalk wedge, and just draw around it. And then you're going to sew that whole thing closed. It's just like in the video for the pumpkin gnome. So we're going to sew that all closed. You're going to cut it out. And then you're going to pull it apart. So you've sewed, and then you've cut it really close to the stitching, but you did not cut the stitching, okay? And you're going to cut it on one side. You got to use a big enough pair of scissors. And then you're just going to snip it a little bit so you can get in there and turn it right side out, which this is the right side. So I sewed it wrong. And then you're going to turn that, unless you want the wrong side of the fabric. And I'm using the sutures, and then you're going to turn, the wrong side's not bad. It's coming undone there with the stitching. So then you got it like this, and then you're going to stuff it. And we don't even have to worry about that being open because it's going to get glued. And now we're going to try to get his beard out of the way. And you're going to don't put too much glue. Make sure you get some in where it's opened. And then we're going to put them right at the bottom at an angle, and make sure you grab the right shoe and not the wrong one. The one that I turned that was backwards. There we go. So you just got to make sure those dry. Okay, so if this gnome looks a little different, it's because it is. Because I decorated one, and I decorated here and I didn't like it. So I'm going to redo the end of this video. So I'm just going to take some greenery. I'm going to try to do, we'll do this one. So I'm going to put my leaves down first. And I'm just going to start up over in this area. And I just take some of the artificial leaves from my flowers that I buy. And I'll get my flowers, I get them from Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and Dollar Tree is where I mainly get them. Those are the 3 main craft stores. And Walmart. Those are the craft stores that are in our town. And then I'm going to take these sunflowers. I think I got these ones. They're more of a fabric. And I'm going to use some of those. And I think I got those at Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to do probably just a couple of these. And then I'll do some little fillers. So you might have to hold those till they dry. And you can use any type of filler flower you want. I'm going to use some of this little white flower that I get that at Hobby Lobby. I really like those. They're nice just to tuck in. I'm actually going to tuck in. I'm going to put some glue right behind the flower and tuck in some of these leaves. I get these from, it's a bush, and I get it from Walmart. And it comes like this. Of course, it's a bigger bush. So I'm going to just, and I'm going to put the glue in there because it's going to melt the end of the little leaf stem, and I don't want it to do that while I'm trying to get it in there. And then I'm going to tuck in some of these yellow flowers. I get these at the Dollar Tree. They come in like yellow, purple, pink. And I think I mentioned that in the beginning of the video. And then I'm going to tuck in some of the white. And when I'm doing a small, excuse me, when I'm doing a small stem, I will put the glue behind what I've put down first. And then put it on because it will melt the end of your piece if you're using a high temp glue gun. And I'm going to put some up here. And then I'm going to add a couple little pieces, a couple little flowers down here. I'm going to put my leaves first. You know, make sure you don't get the leaves like right covering his nose. You got to be a little mindful of where you're putting that. Sometimes you can put it on there. See if that's where you want it first. And then I'm going to use these little sunflowers. I get these from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut these off. I have wire cutters and I don't know where they went. I'll use these older ones. So I'm going to cut these off. And I've seen these at the Dollar Tree the last couple of years. So these are out now. And I'm just going to put 3 of them right here. I don't like that one. It's got a blob in the middle of it. And I'll get one more. So you can decorate your hat however you want. And there we go. And then I'll show you how I did the sticks in just a minute. So let me get rid of this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do the sticks. And I just get 3 of them and I just go out in my yard. And I got a rubber band. I'm just going to rubber band it around. And I'm going to try and cover that. So you're going to leave a tail. so that you can tie this at the end, and you want to make sure you cover that rubber band, and just make sure you have enough of your thread. I usually make a pretty long piece, and then I'm just going to tie this in a knot. And I think I've lost some of my green. So I have really small black rubber bands is what I would normally use. And then just tie this in a knot. And then this I'm just put in his, so he's holding it in his hand. And then you can cut this and put it on this one. And you can glue that in there is what I would do. And then I'm going to take a bird. You can put a bird, you can put flowers, you can put whatever if you have a sign. And some of the birds I've gotten at a specialty store in our town. And other ones, these really small ones. These ones, if it will focus, those you can get at Hobby Lobby where the fairy garden stuff is, and they have other birds like that white one. So they have bigger ones and stuff. So the smaller ones, like the fabric one, you might have to go online and see. So let me just take a break, and I'll close this video, and I'll be right back. So here's the gnomes. These are the 3 I made, and this is the one we did in the video. So you let me know what you think. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to start the video tomorrow for Craft Tool Tuesday. I'm going to try, but I can't promise I'll get it out this week, because today is September 11th, and I want to start it. It's going to be Tuesdays. So if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to join my crafting community. Click on the subscribe button. If you already have subscribed, thank you for joining my crafting community. Hit that like button. That helps my channel to grow. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Love ya.